Hey guys, this is Sam the Community Gardener. So today I have this paddle plant. Let me show you. This is a paddle plant. Some people call it a flapjack. I've dug this one up because if you notice the leaves, see how they tend to be growing downward? See this one, how it's curled downward? And all of them are curling downward. So I knew that there was something going on with this plant. I've had it for a couple of years now, and I've repotted it. It was big, and I repotted it. And look how this one is beginning to curve, and see the curvature in this particular plant. Well, after doing a little research to determine why was it curling downward, and from what I understand now, I had it located in a large window. The window has a dark screen on it, so it doesn't get any direct sunlight, but it's still brighter there than in most other places in the house. So I've been keeping it indoors. And also I've decided to change the soil. I took out the old soil because it was in this particular pot. This pot had 4 teeny tiny little holes in the bottom of it, so it was not draining well. So I took my drill, and if you can see, I've put 4 relatively larger holes in the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to put them back in the same pot. And also what I did was, when I decided to replace the soil, I used some succulent mix that's specifically for succulent plants, the soil. And then I also did about a 1/4, 3/4 mix of sand, 1/4 sand, 3/4 mix of succulent median. And I'm going to repot it in this particular pot, and we're very hopeful that, you know, it's September here, so we'll probably still be getting 80 and 90 degree temperatures here for the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of maybe leave it outside and let it get some direct sunlight, because from what I understand from my research, it loves direct sun, and it also loves to drain very, very well. And this one was not draining well. Even when I dug the soil out of it, it felt a bit moist because I had little small holes in it. And like I said, now I've replaced it. I drilled these 4 larger holes in the bottom to make sure that it will drain very well. So what we're going to do here is, in this particular soil, it already has a bit of perlite in it, and you know, perlite is that medium that helps soil to drain very well. So I wanted to just take some of this, put it here in the pot, and I'm not going to even, normally I put a coffee filter over the holes, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to fill it in, and I'm also not going to fill the pot completely to the top like I had before, because I see that the roots of this plant is very, very shallow. And so I'm going to leave some room in the pot so that when it, you know, the plant will have a place to rest on the edge without laying on the soil. So yeah, guys, this is what we're doing today. We are repotting our paddle plant. Like I said, it's some people call it a flapjack. It's really like a Kalanchoe in the Kalanchoe family. But I love these succulents, and I have so many of them, and this is just one. This particular succulent, the flapjack, my brother-in-law, I had asked him for, he had a very beautiful one, still has a very beautiful one, and I'd asked him to, you know, I told him I wanted a little piece of it so I could grow it, and he said, man, I'm just really afraid to cut it because I just think I'm going to do some damage to it and maybe hurt it. So one day I was sitting at home, and he called me. He said, hey man, he said, a big piece of this paddle plant has fallen off, and if you want it, you can come and get it. So I rushed over there and I got it, and it was a relatively large piece, and the leaves were probably 5 times bigger than these leaves here. But like I said, his seems to do very, very well, and I'm very hopeful that the remainder of this sunny season that we have, like I said, this is September, and usually sometime even into October, we still have 75 and 80 degree weather where these plants are they pretty much they don't like cold weather and cold weather. But in order to kill this particular plant, though, it needs to be lower than 20 degrees. But I still bring mine inside because I don't even want them to be in any 20-degree weather, because I just feel like that's too cold. And so guys, we're going to make, you see the little root system on the end there, and there's a small plant growing on here. We're going to place it back in the pot. I think I want to take this little piece off and make it a separate plant. Let me just pinch it off, and hopefully it'll grow when I stick it in the soil. So we're going to take this one, we're going to put it down in the soil a little deeper than it was before, and I want to put all three of them in this same pot. So here's another one. I'm gonna see, it has another new one growing as well. I'm gonna break it off and see if I can't make that. Well, they kept a little bit of the root system, so hopefully I can use that. And I do see some new roots on this one already growing, so I just think that it wasn't draining well, and that's one of the reasons why it started to droop like this. See how it's drooping, and some of the leaves are actually kind of curling. That's a true indication that you are one of two things. Either it's not getting enough direct sunshine. From what I understand, these plants love direct sunshine, so I'm going to make sure it gets some before the summer is over. And also watering, you don't have to water this plant every week. Maybe once maybe once a month even is good, especially as it's about to turn a little cool outside now. I think once a month will be fine for this particular plant. You don't have to worry about it needing water. In fact, these plants do better if you don't give them enough water as opposed to giving them too much water. So see how this one is really just curled, and I'm very hopeful that it will start to perk back up, and the leaves, you know, like I said, I've been watching it for a good little while now, and I just basically decided that it's time for me to go ahead and do something about this. And so today we are putting this Kalanchoe paddle plant in the same pot, but just we changed out the soil, and this soil is about 3/4 succulent mix and 1/4 sand. So because it likes a good sandy mix, and also the sand helps it to drain well. So I have one other piece here now. I don't know what this is going to do. It's kind of so curved over, but I am going to replant it here and just kind of hope for the best on this one. And hopefully in the weeks to come, we'll see this plant start to perk up, because the leaves on this plant can get as large as a good size pancake or flapjack. That's why they call it the flapjack plant. Some people call it the flapjack plant. I still call it the paddle plant, because the leaves look like huge paddles from time to time. So let's go ahead and put this last piece in, and this curvature, I think I might even clip it. I think I'll cut a little piece of it off, and well, I'm not going to do it now though. I'm just going to plant it now and see if repotting it in this new medium and also in this well draining pot, we're going to see if that helps it to start to perk back up. And I can just let it lean here on the side of the pot, just make sure that the leaves are covered. And I'm going to even put this small piece down in there, if I can get down in there some kind of way to oh, here's what I'll use this. Here's a spoon that I usually use for planting certain things I'm digging with and whatever. It's a regular metal spoon, but I'm just going to make a hole down here for this small little piece here, and see that piece of root system hanging off of it. It should do okay. So we're just going to place it back down in here along with the 3 larger pieces, and let's give it a little soil there, and just, it doesn't have to be tightly down in the soil, but we just, and then this last little piece, I think I'm just gonna plop it down in there as well and hope for the best on it, you know. So guys, yeah, this is what we're doing today. So we have taken our Kalanchoa or flapjack plant. Some people call it the paddle plant. That's what I call it. And we took it out of this pot here. Let me show you the pot again. It's a beautiful pot. We took it out of this pot and we changed the soil out so that, and we're very hopeful that it will take off again. And we're gonna, see how it looks there. This is a Kalanchoa. It's a flapjack, or some people call it the paddle plant. That's what I call it. But we're going to see if putting it in this pot, in this new medium, like I said, we have 3/4 succulent medium, along with about 1/4 of the medium being sand, because this particular plant really loves to drain well. It doesn't like what we call wet feet or wet roots, because they are very easily develop root rot. And once you develop root rot, if you don't catch it in time enough, that plant is going to die. So unfortunately with these plants, you can clip them off and let them sit out a day or two and dry out, and then you can replant them and they should start developing new leaves. So guys, and the last thing I did with this pot is that this particular pot only had 4 teeny tiny little holes in the bottom of it, so it was not draining well. I took my power drill today and I put 4, I guess I want to say probably 4 holes the size of a nickel each, about as wide as a nickel, and that way I know that when I water it, it will drain very well. And like I said, we're going to leave it out here outside and see if this direct sun will give it the kind of help that it needs to perk back up and come back. So hey guys, I'm Sam the Community Gardener, and today we have repotted our Kalanchoa flapjack plant. So we're going to be watching this over the next few weeks to see if there are any changes in the growth of the size of the leaves, or if it starts putting on any new. I've almost waited too late to do it because these plants do go dormant sometimes when it starts cooling off outside. But I'm hopeful we still have enough sunlight, and it has a well draining pot now, and the medium, the mix that I used, has sand in it that'll help it to drain it. It also had a bit of perlite in it, so hopefully it will drain very well. And in the weeks to come, this beauty will start to show itself even more so than it's been doing. Like I said, it's been curling, and a lot of times when it starts to curl, and it's reaching for the light, which means that it's in a place where it's not getting enough light. So hey guys, I'm Sam the Community Gardener. I'll see you next time in the garden, and stay green everybody.